Hi, I'm Darnell with Way Oven Recipes, and this is my 30-day review of the Chefman AirTouch Air Fryer Oven. If you have not seen my initial review of this cooker, it would be best that you watch that in full first, because this is my 30-day review where I give my thoughts and impressions and talk about the cooker, and that initial review is where I do all the testing, all the cook demonstrations of how it performs doing various types of cooks, and all that good stuff happens there. This is where I follow up to talk about what I think about the cooker after using it for a month. And so with this cooker, I just want to say that it is a very hot cooker as far as hot and fast type cookers. As far as cookers go that I've used of the air fryer oven type of model, this is literally one of the hottest that I've used as far as general cooking. And so it's, one of the hottest, and it's very, going to cook things up really hot and well and fast. And so I really do like it. I think it does a really good job. And I think that, the folks at Chefman, I guess somebody wanted to make sure they made something that cooked things up quick, because for most things, this cooker can get the job done. And when using this cooker, it cooks things very evenly all over. I basically found that, whatever I was cooking, it was done just even all over. If I'm toasting, it's even all over. If I'm air frying bacon, the strips are all even, pretty much. And, anything that's cooked in it seems to be an even cook. I didn't do flips of food, I would air fry and not do flips of food and things. It does a good job of doing things evenly all over with its top and bottom heating elements. It works out really well. I will say one hassle with this cooker though is when you're changing time on the fly, it's a little tricky, because with most cookers, let's say that you started to cook at 20 minutes and you get down to the last minute and you see you want to add like another 5 minutes. So you want to up what's 1 minute on the countdown up to 6 minutes, because you want to add 5 minutes. When you start trying to add time, instead of it just adding time to that 1 minute remaining, like I've seen in, I have a hard time, I don't know if I know a cooker that didn't just, if it could add time, if it would let you add time, would just add time to what's remaining. With this cooker, it's not like that. When you start trying to adjust the time settings in the middle of a cook, it goes back to where you started. So you try and adjust time, it goes back to 20 minutes. And then you're adjusting time from 20 minutes. And so if you just wanted to get things at 6 minutes, you've got to go down 14 minutes from where you started when you make an adjustment to get down to 6 minutes. That's a little, nerve-wracking, a little tricky, a little annoying, but, it's something that if you know what you're coming into before you start cooking, you're prepared to deal with that. Or, you could just go back to your original 20 minutes and just let it count down 6 minutes from that original 20 minutes, and stop things at 14 minutes if you want to go that route and do it that way. But you'd have to stop things manually yourself. So that's something to keep in mind, that on the fly cooking, if you need to adjust time, things get a little tricky, and you just want to be mindful of that. This cooker does have an auto pause door when you open. You want to make sure that you open pretty far open to click in the auto pause. If you just open it just a little bit, it won't auto pause. You have to open it, further open for that auto pause to kick in. And that's real helpful when you want to go in there and you might want to turn some food over. You might want to, move some things around or something. You might want to just go in and do a check, and you want things to pause when you do that. You don't want things to continue running while you're just trying to do some, other work on things in there, losing time, and, also, having an air fry fan blowing hot air on you, stuff like that. So it's cool to be able to open up and things pause. Also with this cooker, it has no preheat, and it does not need a preheat. It doesn't need it. If they put a preheat in this thing, this thing would probably burn down everything you put in it if they give it a preheat. Because it just doesn't need it, and it cooks things up well without it, and it cooks things up pretty quick. So, this is one cooker where preheat, in my opinion, just don't need it. Now, in the initial testing, when testing it for it reaching 450 degrees Fahrenheit, it took more than 5 minutes for it to reach 450, so it took more than like a standard preheat time for it to get to like 450. You'd have to see that initial review to see that. But even though it takes time for it to get to the target temperature, it can go above that and do even more by the time it as it's heating up. It goes up to 450 and beyond. Even though you set it to 450, it gets a bit hotter. But it cooks things, I guess, just because of the design of the cooker. It's not the widest of air fryer ovens and all. It cooks things up really fast. Even if you're cooking things at like 400, they cook up really fast. And I'll have a lot more cooks coming with this cooker showing how it did with cooking various things, but it cooks things fast. There's already some cooks out that I put out before this review, this 30-day review, showing how it does. So you can already see a couple of those now. But it cooks things really fast. Pretty much all you throw in it. It cooks bacon really well and even, as I said. And so the cooker just does a great job. No matter what temperature you're setting it to, keep an eye on things, because it's probably going to cook things up hot and faster than you're used to with a lot of other cookers if you used other air fryer ovens. And so with air frying, of course, obviously it cooks things really well air frying, because this cooker can, tear through cooking things up hot and fast. It does a good job with air frying. And, I've cooked, different types of chicken. I've breaded chicken and, air fried it in here. It turns out really good. And, it's juicy inside while it can get things crisp on the exterior. It's a good cooker, and I've got nothing bad to say about it in that regard. This cooker can bake well, although it has a fan on the top coming down. If you put things on the lower rack, you're not going to burn up your food too bad or anything like that. It's going to do a good job and cook things pretty evenly. And so, as far as baking, for what you can fit in it, it does a decent job baking. There's also a convection bake function on this cooker, and convection bake cooks things even faster than bake. It cooks things just as well as bake, but it cooks them faster. So, when I do baking in this, I'd say, it's pretty good to use convection bake, unless it's like, you're cooking like bread or something that, is really delicate. Convection bake is going to do a good job for you for most things that you want to bake, in my opinion. Now, one function that I found was probably a little less than stellar in my opinion was broil. Broil I didn't really like as much as air fry. I'll say, even if you're going to be cooking some burger or steak or what have you, I personally would recommend using air fry. I did not find that broil really, cut through broiling things really as quick. I just found that it does a lot better job with air fryer. It seems having that air fry fan blowing down on things just, does a lot better work, in my opinion, than broil with this particular cooker. Toast works well, cooks things even on both sides. It's a great toaster. For someone like me who makes homemade bread, I have slices that are larger than a traditional toaster, pop-up toaster. And so, with this, I'm able to toast my bread evenly on both sides. It does a great job with that every time. So it's a great, air fryer toaster oven, because it does toast, in my opinion, perfectly. Now, the warm function works really well. You do have to be careful with warm. As I mentioned, this cooker cooks things really hot and fast. So you probably want to set to a lower temp than you're used to. If you're just really just trying to keep something warm, you want to be careful that you don't, start overcooking it or something like that. Because, like I said, it just gets things so hot. So you want to keep things down probably really low and trying to keep things warm. And also it works well for reheating, since it can get hot. it can reheat food pretty well. You can use, maybe 300 and reheat something, in pretty good time. So it works out well for warming, works well for reheating. The warm function to me works really good. You just want to be careful with it because this cooker cooks things on the hotter end. Now there were a couple of functions that I didn't get to use in this cooker, and I will explain why. One was slow cook. I didn't use slow cook because this cooker isn't very wide, and if you've seen some of my slow cooks on this channel, I cook things that are a lot bigger and wider when I'm cooking things low and slow. I'm cooking pretty big meats and things. So I didn't do any slow cooking in here. I would think with this cooker, since it tends to cook on the hotter end, you might want to take the temperature down even a little lower than you normally would do on a slow cook, but you'd have to, kind of feel that out. Also, I didn't use the dehydrate function just because since I have that Ninja Foodi XL Pro Air oven, and I've got some things to say about that later in this video, but with that I can dehydrate a whole lot at the same time. So I just didn't do any dehydration here. But one thing to keep in mind with this cooker, they give you 2 dehydration baskets out of the box. So they give you enough to do a decent amount of dehydration out the box with this cooker. And so, I think on the lower settings it probably can do your dehydration and probably knock it out in good time. Now regarding the user interface, it only lights up when things are plugged in and all. You'd have to see my initial review to see the user interface, and I demonstrate how to manipulate it and all. But it's super easy to use. It's super easy. I mean, the user interface is so easy. You think this is just like a simple cooker that probably can't do much. But it's a super easy user interface with an air fryer that can really knock down cooking up food fast. So it's a really well-designed cooker because it's easy to use, but can cook things up really well. So, a very good job there. And also, I hadn't had any smoke issues at all with this cooker. No smoke issues at all. Not a single smoke issue. It, performed well without causing a bunch of smoke problems ever. So it's good at, making sure you don't have a bunch of smoke problems as long as you're, not doing anything that's going to create a lot of smoke. Don't use oils that have a super high smoke point, a super low smoke point. You want to use oils that have a higher smoke point. You want to, make sure that you're not keeping things in there till they're, overburnt. Keep an eye on when you're cooking things. You'll be all good. Now as far as noise, this cooker does not make more noise than your average air fryer. It's actually a little quieter. It makes noise. It's not a quiet air fryer when the air fryer fan is running, but it's a little softer than you get from an average air fryer, just a little softer than that. So as far as noise, it's not really a problem if you're used to using air fryers or air fryer ovens. It's, pretty decent on the noise level, not really a, issue in my opinion as far as that's concerned. Now as far as cleaning this cooker, cleaning it is super easy to me. I mean, I usually would wash the accessories except for the air fry basket and maybe the rack. The air fry basket and the rack I might put in the dishwasher. Well, usually I would put them in the dishwasher all the time if they had stuff on them. Put the air fry basket on the top rack, never had a problem with it there. The oven rack, I would put that on the lower rack and never had a problem putting that on my low rack of my dishwasher. You can wash the accessories that you take out by hand if you want, and you'll be okay that route if you want to go that route. The pan, the oven pan, I always wash that by hand. I never put that in the dishwasher. And as far as the interior, washing that, just warm soapy cloth, wiping things out and getting any excess residue and such out. I do want to show you inside. This is after over a month of use. You can see things are clean back there. I did not do anything special to get that clean. Anybody who keeps up with this channel has seen that some cookers just don't retain or do better jobs of not retaining stains than others. I don't, use or have any special thing to say to you as far as removing stains, because all I use is a dishcloth and regular dish soap to, wipe the insides and then wipe the residue down with a wet cloth that doesn't have any soap on it, and that's it. That's all, nothing else. No special mixtures, no special cleaners, none of that, So for me, either the cooker doesn't hold a lot of junk or it does. I haven't had an issue with any that do have stains. Some people are really hung up about stains. I'm totally not hung up about stains. I don't care about stains. As long as there's no flare-ups and fires in my kitchen, I could care less how many stains are in my cooker. And this one just doesn't catch stains. Now we've reached a moment some of you have been waiting for, where I give comparisons with other cookers. I try and do a comparison with some cookers that come to mind for me. If I don't mention a cooker that you're interested in, you'll have to look at reviews of other cookers and make your own assessment, make up your own mind. If you're in the market trying to buy a cooker, it's your money. I'm not getting in the way more than this. I'm giving you this information here, and I'm stepping out the way, and the rest is up to you. But let's start, and I've got my notes here. The first cooker that I'm going to talk about is the Cuisinart digital air fryer toaster oven. And this cooker here, this Chefman, is really close as far as performance with the Cuisinart, because they both cook a lot of things, real hot and fast. Sometimes I can use those Cuisinart recipes and times in this cooker and get a match. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes the Cuisinart goes a little faster. The Cuisinart can do bacon faster for sure. And this one does bacon fast, but the Cuisinart goes even faster. And, so it's real good as far as performance on both cookers. But the Cuisinart overall, I'll say that, I think I prefer it because it has more options, has more features as far as the Cuisinart digital air fryer toaster oven. So between the two, I prefer the Cuisinart over the Chefman, but the Chefman is very nice. If you can get a Chefman at a decent price, it's a good cooker. You don't make a mistake getting this cooker, in my opinion. Now versus the Emeril Lagasse Power Air Fryer, the Power Air Fryer 360, I should say. This against the Emeril Lagasse Power Air Fryer 360, and this goes for the XL too. Just keep in mind the XL is bigger. But I like this cooker better than those, and the reason why I like it better is because it cooks so much faster without any preheat. The Emerils are bigger, especially the XL. But, for a while I preferred the Emeril XL. I liked it. It was big and could cook things up. But, the forced preheat on a lot of cooks and, basically needing to preheat and it cooking things slower and not cooking as fast as this cooker, over time that gets a little boring. Being able to cook things up fast without a preheat is kind of cool. And so, the Emeril with that preheat and all that stuff, I don't miss that. It's not something I want to go back to, to be honest. I don't want to go back to that. I like this being able to cook things up quick. So pretty cool in that regard. And I will say, some of you know that I've had issues with TriStar's customer service. Have those tainted my opinion some? I don't know, maybe. But I do prefer this cooker over the Emeril line. Now this cooker versus the Cuisinart Chef's Convection toaster oven. I'll say that I prefer the Chefman, but the Cuisinart can hold more. So, since the Cuisinart's a little wider, can hold more if you need to, do wider, bigger stuff. The Cuisinart Chef's Convection toaster oven's a very good cooker. But this Chefman, I really do like, over the Cuisinart, just because, never a preheat, just knocks things out quick. It's just a fun cooker to cook with. It does toast evenly all over. Perfect toast every time. It does a pretty good job. So it's got, it's a newer cooker with a newer look. It's kind of cool. Now this cooker versus the Ninja Foodi XL Pro Air Fry Oven, it's, I'm going to say it's a tough call. And the reason why it's a tough call is because I'm having concerns about Ninja. I'm having some real concerns about Ninja. Not my Ninja. My Ninja works great. My Ninja is a wonderful air fryer oven. My Ninja is, you know, as far as if you're just getting an air fryer oven, you know, and that's the problem. You know, I'm talking in terms of if you're getting. When I'm talking about my Ninja air fryer oven, my Ninja air fryer oven is great, okay? But the Ninja air fryer oven you get might be a little different, and here's why. And I did a video about this a while back, and I keep up with the comments there. It seems like, you know, there's been an issue with, since they have the Ninja Foodi XL Pro Air Fryer Oven has the controls on the handle and they were painted on. There was paint rubbing off of ones that a lot of people would get, and that was a problem for a lot of folks. And, you know, more recently I've been hearing from people saying that they got the Ninja Foodi XL Pro Air Fryer Oven, instead of them having painted on display, they've got like stickers. I mean, stuff like that's concerning, you know. I'm really concerned about that. So, you know, I'm not sure what people are going to get when they get the Ninja. It makes me, you know, it discourages me as far as, you know, talking about the Ninja. It really does. It makes me want to divert my attention to other cookers and not talk about the Ninja so much, because, you know, people get the Ninja and people have problems that it seems like the newer batches have that the older batches didn't. So that's a real concern for me there. So, you know, the Ninja cooks really good. You know, Ninja cooks really good. And so that's all I can say is basically against my Ninja, you know, I like my Ninja. But what you would get is a concern to me. And so I just want to, you know, I guess as far as Ninja's concerned, kind of take an off-ramp for now and there. I had not bought either of these cookers. If I didn't own either one, you know, that's probably a good way to put it. If I didn't own the Chefman and I didn't own a Ninja, knowing what I know and what I'm hearing from people buying the Ninja, I'd probably, and I'm used to hearing people say bad things about cookers. Let me say that up front. I'm used to hearing people say a lot of bad things about cookers, okay? So I'm not one that just follows, you know, what people say blindly. This is a different case, okay? This is something special and different. But if I were buying and I didn't have either cooker, I'd buy the Chefman just because I don't know for certain what I'm going to get with the Ninja. You know, I don't have a high level of confidence in what I would get from the Ninja if I got a Ninja right now. But I know with the Chefman, it's, you know, working out decent, and so I go with a Chefman. And so, you know, if you need something bigger, you'll have to fill that out, you know, for what you feel is good. I have to leave my opinions at that point, because that's all that I have to say as far as this whole matter is concerned. The last one that I want to talk about is this cooker versus the Cuisinart microwave air fryer. Now, the Cuisinart is better. You know, Cuisinart microwave air fryer still wins for me. Still my champ. Still the best for me. Still knocks everything. I mean, it cooks faster than this one. It just does everything faster, and it's got a microwave in it. So I'm good with it. I still keep and use it, you know, a lot. It's, you know, when I'm using the air for anything that I'm air frying, for the most part, I'm using this. When I'm reviewing a cooker, I'm using the cooker that I'm reviewing for most of my air frying stuff. But I still have my Cuisinart microwave air fryer on the side that I'm still doing things with on the side, you know. So daily, the main daily cooker is the cooker I'm reviewing. But I still, you know, go and do some things. You know, I might have other things that I'm cooking simultaneously at the same time and stuff. There's always good uses for a cooker on the side, you know. So, you know, the Cuisinart, I still prefer it. And as I always say when I talk about the Cuisinart microwave air fryer, be sure to see my initial and my 30-day review of that cooker if that's something that interests you, because it is a cooker that in particular I like, but a lot of other people don't. So, you don't want to just, I really don't like, people feeling like, oh, he said this, I'm going to go buy it. Do a lot of research. Spend a lot of time researching. You don't have time, well, take some time. Make some time to do some research before you put your money out. Unless you just have money to throw out. I mean, if you just have money to throw out, then, why are you even here researching? Don't worry about it. Just throw your money at something and see what happens. But, if the money that you're putting out means something to you, take time to do some research and, figure out for yourself what you like and get what you like. So that's the best I can say there. I do want to say that, nothing in this video is sponsored. These are just my thoughts and opinions. Other people have their own thoughts and opinions, but, I just play around with these cookers and tell you what I think, and I do appreciate you all being here. In the video description, there are lots of ways that you could help this channel. Also, if you did like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. You can also check out my blog, superwaveovenrecipes.com. A lot of recipes and things that I make are cross-compatible with a lot of different cookers. You have to kind of feel out, but usually they do. And I do also want to say that you can subscribe to this channel. You can hit the notification bell, share this video with a friend. And with all of that, I want to wish you and yours good eating.